Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to the MonaLisa Monroe Morning Show. Grab your coffee or your tea, hunty, because we have a lot to talk about. But before we get started on those red hot topics, please go to my website, www.monalisamonroe.com. We've got t-shirts, we've got mugs, we've got toast. Believe me, we've got you covered. And also, you could purchase my book, Life After the Diagnosis. If you know a survivor or you are a survivor, this is the book that you need. Well, let's go ahead and get this party started right, shall we? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the MonaLisa Monroe Morning Show. Grab your coffee and your tea, hunty, because we have a lot to talk about. But before we get started, I'm going to take you to my website, www.monalisamonroe.com. Yes, we have merchandise. Yes, yes, yes. We have cups. We have totes. We have t-shirts. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yes, ma'am. And last but not least, of course, we have my book, Life After the Diagnosis. Please go to my website and check it out. All right, let's get started. Today, we are talking about fatherhood. Oh, yes. So, of course, I got to talk to some dads and see what they felt about fatherhood. Question number one that my audience had: what's the difference between being a father and a baby daddy? I know, I hate that phrase, but I'm going to bring some fellas on, some gentlemen on to help me sort of untackle that madness. My first guest, y'all ain't ready for this? But Mr. Julius Hall. Okay, now I know who you are, but please let us know. Give your bio, sir. Just a snippet, because I know you got a lot going on. But tell my audience who you are.
Well, it's just a little bit too big to. It would take 3 or 4 shows.
I know that's right.
So I'm Julius Hall. I am the CEO of All Things Relevant Media, the CEO of ATR Consulting LLC.
Yes, sir.
Political consulting here in Savannah, Georgia. Well, the whole Chatham County. Well, we do anywhere in the country, because I've been asked to do some in South Carolina and Florida also, but I haven't. But I've been asked. Right now, I'm currently running for mayor. I've lived in Savannah all my life.
Woo!
Well, in Chatham County all my life. Again, I keep forgetting that this county is bigger than Savannah.
That's right.
Yeah, but I'm proud to be here. Glad to see you doing well with the MonaLisa Monroe Show.
Well, I want to personally thank you, sir, for taking me on, because I was a project. Trust me. I was a project, and I'm telling you, I was a project. I'm not even gonna lie. But I thank you for bringing me on the show and being one of the many shows that you have on your production network. So, and everybody, please check him out. Go to Facebook, All Things Relevant. But today, sir, I'm going to tap in to the personal Julius. Okay,
Okay.
Julius Hall, the father, Julius Hall. Good morning, sunshine. So this question, I'm telling you, my guest or my audience has always hated this phrase, baby daddy. And I'm like going, I hate that phrase. So here comes Father's Day. Okay.
Mhm.
So what is the difference you think between being a father and a daddy? Or is there a difference at all?
Well, there is a difference. A father nurtures. A
Morning,
father,
Gladys.
a father is more attentive than just a daddy. A daddy is just somebody that exists. But
Oh,
when you are a father is involved. A
good.
father is there. I mean, some people might see it different and switch it around, but
Mm-hmm.
when you're somebody's father, you care more. You're not just their dad.
Ah,
You're not a baby daddy. Baby daddy, just you know that
oh, I
means you
hate
just
that.
you just made that child. But uh, when you're a father, you care. You're emotionally involved. You have something vested. You have a legacy that you're trying to bring up behind you, and you want to nurture it. You know, so
Yeah.
it's a difference in being somebody's daddy and being somebody's father. You somebody's father. It's more of a responsibility.
And that's what I say, and people that's been like, for instance, adopted or, maybe vitro injected or whatever, they say that they have a donor. Have you heard somebody say, I don't have a daddy, I got a
I got
donor? I'm
done.
like,
But that's the person that is not involved, and then that person gets the feeling that way because that person is not a part of their life. So
um,
they call them a donor, even though they're their biological parents.
right.
But they call them a donor because you're not involved, you're not engaged, you don't care. So that's the right term for them. All you did was donate some sperm to create me. You know.
So maybe that's along the same line of a baby daddy, because if a daddy is not involved in that child's life, it's sort of like being a donor, right? I mean,
Correct. That's exactly what it is. Because I mean, you can, even if you were just just a donor,
yeah,
or if that child is not your biological father, your biological child, you can still be that child's father.
right.
You
If
know,
you care.
if you care, it's about the level of involvement and concern and care that you have for that child or for that person that you call your child.
And okay, so the term father, okay, means a man that produced a child, cares, does what he can, whatever, whatever. But to me, now I know this might be controversial, but the woman has a lot to do with this title.
Well,
So what I mean by that is, a woman can tell that child that that's a baby daddy because she's not getting what she wants from the father. And here's the father, trying to see the child, trying to take care of the child or whatever. And then you have that mother that's slicing that daddy in half when it comes to that child. So does a woman have a lot to do with this title of fatherhood versus daddy? Do you think?
yeah, she has a big part in it that she plays because she influences the child. She's with the child every day, and so if you constantly feed anybody anything,
Mm,
eventually they will believe it. Perception unchallenged becomes reality, and
uh,
I tell people that all the time. If that mother is feeding that child that their dad is no good, that child eventually believes that,
right.
unless the dad is such an influence in that child's life where that child can discern for himself, his or herself, that no, my father's a great guy.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm so happy now that you can see that they're trying to promote black fathers, because for so long I don't care what a black father did, it was just downplayed. Oh, you a deadbeat dad and da 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 da. And just lately, I guess the last 10 years, the narrative has been tilting and changing when it comes to black fathers. And what do you think the reason for that is? Because they never say a deadbeat dad when it comes to a white or Hispanic or Asian or any other race. What do you think that's about?
Well, we let that happen, and it was a system. It's this show is not long enough to even go into it, but for the short part, um, we create a whole lot of the things that, um, well, we probably didn't create it, but we helped to spread it. Um, we're really not deadbeat dads. It's more people deadbeat dads than we are. More we're not even what they're saying. We're 13-14% of the population. I think
Exactly.
I think it's more than
Exactly.
that. So how can we be the
The
total
sorry.
for the deadbeat dads?
Yeah.
No, but it's just we're put out there more. And that's all it is. We're put out there more. We're on the front page more for
Mm,
not the front page of the newspaper, just out in front of
yeah.
everybody more. We have more drama with it than anybody else see, and we put our stuff always in the public. So
Mm,
that term "deadbeat dad" doesn't apply to just black people. It applies to everybody whose father isn't involved and isn't taking care of that child.
right.
We just happen to be on display because that's the way the system works. They
Mm-hmm.
use us for anything bad. They want to put a black face on it. So
And which is so unfair. Oh my gosh, it's so unfair. But then they promote the negative all the time. And I mean, if as soon as they mention crime, jail, whatever, here comes the black faces. And there's so many successful dads. I mean, like you, for
right.
instance, you're running for mayor. So what is your son? What do you have a son?
Yes, I have a son. He's in Atlanta.
Okay. And so what does he think about you running for mayor?
Oh, he's excited. He uh, contacted me the other day and told me he's proud of me and that tell him anything that I needed him to do.
Wow, that's awesome. So
It's
were
good to
you
just set that so that other and we as black men we have to do things that not only our sons are watching so that they can emulate, but
uh
other sons who other young men are watching who don't have their father with them. I
mm,
grew up in a household where I had a father, but it was not my biological father, but it was my stepfather. And
mhm.
um, my stepfather taught me a whole lot, especially my work ethic. Um,
Okay.
so, when you see something happening like that, then you want to emulate it when you grow older to see how it works for you because you knew how
Right.
it worked when you saw it, but then
Right.
you do it yourself when you're older.
Right, right, right. And me being a woman, I'm always ears open trying to learn more, the most I can because I bore four boys. So it's like I don't know. And they get to a certain age, I have no problem. Call your dad, ask your dad cuz I don't know. But growing up, would you say that um you know how you have the mothers, and I'm telling you, I was a single mom. I get it. You wanna be both, but you can't be both. you
Yeah.
you can't be both. Period. Point blank.
Well, when
So,
you're getting that whipping, you thank your mom and your dad.
but this is when I come to the second thing is what is it like being a father? When you first became a father, how old were you?
23 or 24 or something like that.
Oh man, now be honest. Were you ready?
Uh, it, well, I guess I was, it wasn't, uh, it was not like it was actually, I was married. It wasn't like it was like, that's what you were trying to do. It just happened. You weren't trying to avoid it though. So, I was happy. Um, and, she gives me hell right now today. So,
Marquise Jackson, hello, sir. Yes, you have my vote. All
okay.
right.
All
All
right.
right. Good morning, Lealo, Miss Burden. How about that? Good morning, Miss Gladys. Good morning. Good morning, Sunshine. So, okay, I get not being ready.
Yeah.
I mean, because I had my son very young, my first one, and we were young parents. We had no idea.
Mhm.
But even though you're young, even though you weren't ready, fatherhood is caring for your child. It's not about the money. Would you say it's about the money at that point, in the beginning?
Well, it's all about caring for the child when you're a father.
Yeah.
Especially if you got a boy and you raise him, but dads like to also, they have this thing, especially in, well, I guess it might be in all races where the girl is closer to the father and the boy is closer to the mother.
You think so?
Yeah, that's the way I've always seen it. You always have that.
Really?
Yeah, unless the father is not around or something. Some mothers and daughters have special relationships, but the father, he always want to take his daughter around and show off, and but the girl always, because the dad always let the girl get away with murder.
Oh, okay. Well,
But he'll spank the boy.
he'll spank the boy.
Yeah, because he
Well,
wants the boy to be hard and he wants the boy to do the right thing, but he let the girl get away with anything.
okay. Good morning, Miss Tanya. Julius is an excellent stepfather to my children. All right. They
Mhm.
think very highly of him. Very good, Mr. Julius.
Treat them
So,
like they're mine.
huh?
Treat them like they're my biologicals. So,
Now see.
and that's the way you're supposed to do it. What you're trying to do is make an impression, and
Mhm.
the impression is one that will make them see that your experiences is things that they need to be enlightened about.
Mhm.
And in my speech the other day, I said it's not about who you impress; it's about who you impact. And that's the
Yes.
truth. You want to make an impact. You want to impact these younger minds so that they can
Right.
probably avoid some of the pitfalls that you had traveled into and fell into. So if you can impress them enough to impact them by how you live in your life, then you've done your duty.
I can totally concur with that. So what would you say your dad did right in raising you? What would you say that was the he
Well,
did right by doing this and this?
my stepfather had a big part in raising me. My mother was remarried, and this is my baby brother's the biological father, Matthew Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And since I was 8 years old, 8, 9 years old, I was running a business by myself.
What?
I was. I got robbed when I was 9 years old. You know,
Wow.
right on Augusta Avenue in West Savannah. We had a gas
Wow.
station there. We had a gas station, a Phillips 66 station on
Mm.
Augusta Avenue when I was a kid. And I ran that gas station at 9 years old by myself.
Wow.
9 years old. I didn't need nobody. I counted money, pumped gas, changed tires. I did it all in that gas station by myself at 9 years old. So he
Wow.
taught me a work ethic that I still have today, that don't let nobody stop you. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do it. Just go do it. If you
Mm.
put your mind to it, you can do anything you want to do. And so I learned those things from him. And like I said, today I still try to instill those things in even the kids that I mentor.
Wow. Well, before I let you go, Mr. Julius Hall, three things you've learned from your father. Well, we know number one was work ethic. Good grief. What would you say the other
The
two were?
second thing would be um, listening. Listening. You have to listen when somebody else is talking. You have to
Oh,
listen. It is imperative that you hear what somebody else is saying. And
mm,
one thing my stepfather always did was he always made me talk so he can
oh,
listen to see what I wanted, you know.
mm,
And it wasn't just me; it was my other brothers and sisters also. But he was a great stepfather because he cared. He showed. We're the only kids in the neighborhood that had a swimming pool in the backyard. We
ooh.
had not a in ground, above ground. All the kids came to our house on the weekends. They watch
Right.
movies because we had the movies set up in the backyard. Um, and We had mini bikes and go karts. We were the only kids
Oh,
that had that on Hudson Hill, you know,
wow.
right there in
Yeah.
West Savannah. So listening would probably be the second thing because you have to listen to see what a person is feeling. Because if all you're doing is talking, then you're teaching and you're not learning anything. You got the
Mm,
T, you got the T and the L. When you're talking, you're teaching. When you're listening, you're learning. And so those are things that he taught me when I was younger. And The third thing was always be willing to give. Yeah, you have to be willing to give. It's not just about you receiving something, you know.
mm-hmm,
And I've
mm-hmm,
always been my whole life. I've always been a giver because uh, I was taught to give,
mm-hmm,
and because I was we always had. So it
mm-hmm,
wasn't nothing for me to give. It wasn't nothing for me to give somebody something that I had because
mm.
we always had, you know,
Wow.
and you hate to
That's
see
pretty
other
good.
people go without. Yeah.
Miss Tanya, a son really knows how to pull the heartstrings of their mom. You better believe that. You better believe that. Well, thank you so much, Julius, for being one of the guests that I had today of talking a little bit about fatherhood. And before I let you go, like I said earlier, go ahead and give us where we can find you, what's going on, how we can participate in helping you get in over there in Port Wentworth. Go ahead. You have the
Well,
floor, sir.
I want everybody to understand that if you look at my name, you'll see the U.S. in Julius. If you look at my last name, you'll see the all in Hall. It's about us all in Port Wentworth. It's not
Oh,
about one part of Port Wentworth. It's about all of us in Port Wentworth. And so if you want to see some change, some real change that's going to grow this city and build a better Port Wentworth, then I ask everybody to go to my Facebook page, Julius Hall for Mayor, Julius Hall for Port Wentworth Mayor. Go to my website, Hall for PW Mayor, .com. and you can go on and fill out the volunteer application. You can they have a button on there to donate to the campaign. We're going to be out in the neighborhoods. When I come with an army. They just don't know it yet. They'll see it pretty soon. Um,
Mm.
but small army, but it's an army. Um, and
Well, hey, it only took 300 in the Bible now.
yeah, and that's what I got, about 300. Uh, so we'll be knocking on doors and making phone calls, talking to people, walking around, talking to people. Me and my wife, we go up to the supermarket all the time, and we talk to voters. We talk to residents of the city, so we can um, tell them who we are, so they can get a firsthand knowledge of what we want to do here in this city. When
Mhm.
I'm finished my first 4 years, one thing that everybody will be able to say is that the mayor knows my name.
All right.
And so that's part of the campaign. But go on Facebook, you'll see me. You can't miss it. If you want to send a donation, you can do that also. And by going on to the website. The website is hallforpwmayor.com, and you'll be able to get in touch with me. Or you can always call me direct, 912-572-3798. You can always call me direct.
Well, all righty then. Thank you so much again, sir. And I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate you this morning.
No problem. I would have came on tonight, but we have 7:30. We have the Weeping Time March, so I have to be at the Weeping Time March at 7:30.
Oh,
The vigil for the Weeping Time, probably on Augusta Avenue out there in West Atlanta.
okay.
Slave trade.
Okay. Okay. Well, all right. Hopefully that stuff down there gets straight. I promise.
Yeah, we need to get it straight.
Okay. Well, sir, you have a good day, and I will talk to you soon. Believe
All
that.
right. Thank you for
All
having me.
right.
All right.
Bye bye. Man, that was awesome. So, I mean, that was awesome. When you think about the difference between being a father and a daddy, I didn't really understand it until I think I got a son, because I would always say daddy, but father, like Julius, Mr. Hall said, being a father is you putting in the time, you putting in the money, you are taking care of that child. Now, does a mother have a lot to do with that title? I would say yes, because it's up to her to say, father, your father this, your father that. Or she could say, yo daddy, yo daddy, yo daddy, yo daddy. And plus, she could say good about that father, or she could say some bad about that father. I really think it weighs heavily on the woman, the mother of that child. Whether it's a boy or a girl, it does not matter. I think how a woman presents that child's father means so much, so very much. And as I stated earlier, I was a single parent for a long time. But me personally, I was raised by a stepfather. And I hate the term step, but he wasn't my biological father. My biological father and mother divorced when I was very young. So, was he participating in my life? Yes. To the extreme of my stepfather, I would say no, because he wasn't there on the day in and day out, but he was a provider. So, is there a difference? Let's say a father is giving money, and let's say he is coming around, but not as often as that mother would like or that child would like. Is he still considered a daddy, or is he considered a father? So that's sort of that that in between thing. But that term baby daddy, I hate it. I hate it. And the narrative has taken off to be negative anyway. So why participate in that negative narrative by calling your son or daughter's father a baby daddy? Why participate in that? Change the narrative. Start saying father. Um, is the term dad okay? That's my dad. I think it's better than baby daddy. But, you know, fatherhood. That's my father. I don't know. It just sounds better, don't you think? But like I said, I'm a woman, so I really don't know what it's like being a father. Being a single parent as a woman, I knew I couldn't be a father. So all of these single parents talking about I'm your daddy and your mama. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're that child's mother. And don't try to fill those shoes because you can't. Now, I know I might get some flack. I know I might get some comments that might not support this statement, but I'm not saying anything that I didn't already know. I knew I couldn't be my son's father. So I was okay with knowing that. you know, um, I don't know, as a single parent, you go out and you work, you cook, you clean, you do all of that. But one thing that you cannot do is be a man. Oh Lord. Okay, so that might get some flack because hello. Um mm, there are folks that are adopting children now that are same sex. So that's a whole nother narrative right there. Um, because you think, okay, is that good for the child or not? So yeah, it's a lot of right now. America is just not wanting to say man or woman. I mean, if you look on applications now, it's like binary. Do you feel like this? And well, if fluid, are you a fluid binary? I don't know. But anyway, today we are talking about fatherhood. And that was the question. What is the difference? Is there a difference between uh, being a father and being a daddy? And as I stated before, that baby daddy term, let's let that go. Let's let that go. Real talk. I can't stand that. So, yeah, it's about that time that we bring on Mr. Monroe, Mr. Gary Monroe. As you guys know, well, of course, if you follow me, you know that June is all about the men. So we had men guests. We're talking about men stuff. And today we're talking about fatherhood. So, Mr. Monroe, let me ask you this. What would you say?
Can I come on?
Sure.
And sharing the camera this morning. I know you. Your guests just care to see you.
No, they care to see both of us now.
No,
don't start. Don't start. So, Mr. Monroe, you and
Gary.
Okay, Gary.
You don't like baby daddy.
Oh, I can't stand it.
Don't get professional with me.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Yeah.
So, we're celebrating Father's Day Sunday, and you and your dad. Wow, you want to tell them a little bit about you and your dad, y'all's relationship?
Well,
I know that's a lot, right?
Yeah. No. Well, wonderful relationship.
Yeah.
for me, and I know everyone would say this, that they had the greatest father in the world, greatest daddy in the world. I was blessed, not only just having in my life, but I grew up in the household with both parents in the household,
which is a blessing.
Which was a blessing and is a blessing.
Yeah.
It still blesses me to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But wonderful relationship. Everything you had, discipline, development, respect.
Mm-hmm.
He, for me, did not miss a beat.
Okay.
For me. And so as I reflect, and it's funny that one of his favorite things was he would say to, particularly my brother and I, he would say, you may not understand it now.
Oh.
But when you get your own, you'll understand.
Yeah.
He would say that, as well as he would say, you'll understand when you get later.
You understand by and by.
Yeah. you hate me now. And he would say to me,
ooh,
he would say to me,
you may hate me?
You don't have to like me.
Oh.
You don't have to like me right now. I'm not in this for you to like me.
Oh, wow.
But you appreciate and love me for it later. Now, of course, that didn't feel too good.
Oh, well, of course. So what did your father do right in raising you? That would be red hot question right about now. And what would you say he did right?
I mean, it would be vague just to say everything. You don't realize what your father have done right until you become a man. Mm-hmm. You know, and then you realize, like, wow. In some instances, in my case, you know, my father didn't graduate from high school, but he just had that wisdom, that life application wisdom, and how to communicate to you about being a man, and just above and beyond anything. My people would say this of my personality: very stubborn. My mom, I saw that look. My mom actually said to me on her sick bed, she was asking me for something that was against what the doctors were ordering, and I wouldn't give it to her. I said, well, Mom, you know, I can't give it to you, you know. And she looked at me, she said, you're stubborn just like your daddy. She said, but whatever you do, keep being stubborn. And she said, your daddy made up his own mind. He was not swayed or followed just trends or just what everybody was doing. He had his own mind. And she said, so, and I like that about you. You stick to your you make decisions based on your own, but you're not a follower in that sense. And I remember a quick story about
good morning, Jackson.
Not following, not being a follower, and not being easily persuaded. I can trace that back to one moment. When I was a little kid. When I was a kid,
I gotta buckle up when he go to. I gotta buckle up. Okay, go ahead.
When I was a kid, I used to love to eat raw sweet potatoes. Oh man, how many people grew up in the country? And you know, when your mom is making sweet potato pies, and you like to eat those sweet potatoes, the raw, you peel them and sweet potato, good, just raw. And it was Christmas time, and we had already bought my dad his Christmas gift, and it was under the tree. So my dad called me in there. He said, homeboy. I said, what's up? You know? He says, what did y'all get me? So I looked. I said, I can't tell you. He said, come on, man, tell me what y'all get me. So I said, I can't tell you. And then he said, my mom wouldn't give me, she was making the sweet potato pie, so she wouldn't give me any sweet potatoes.
Because she knew you'd tell it?
No. No.
Okay.
So she would say, I don't have none to give. I'm trying to make this pie. So my daddy said, if you tell me what's the gift is, I go get you a sweet potato.
So you told it?
So I looked, I said, really? He said, yeah, man.
Oh my God.
He said, tell me what's in the gift, and I'll get to worry about it. I'll take care of your mama. He said, I'll get you a sweet potato. So I was looking. I was just sitting there looking. I said, but mama gonna get me.
Yeah.
Like that, right? He said, man, don't worry about that. I'll take care of your mama. So I kept looking. And then he said, you know what, homeboy? Don't tell me. He said, don't tell me.
Because you wanted to obey.
He said, don't tell me. He said, because make up your own mind.
Okay.
You know,
Don't be swayed.
It was in that moment that he said to me, "Don't be easily persuaded, influenced by what other people want, what everybody think." He said, "You stick to your guns."
Or what a person can give you.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And it was funny, and I think about it to this day, but
so you would say that one of the things or what your father did right was to teach you to have your own mind.
Own mind. And if I may say, can we just keep it simple? And it's also just being a man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just being a man in every sense of the word. Everyone knew my dad, Buggy. He was a massive of a man. He was a man's man. And that's what he imparted into, say, my brother and I. A man's mindset, your character, your conduct, your conversation, just everything about yourself and being a man in a natural sense. And then it comes with responsibility and accountability and things of that nature.
Well, hold that thought, because our next question is there, or do you think there's a difference between being a daddy and a father?
Well, you know, I'm biased to that because, again, I had both my daddy and my father in my life.
Well, the term daddy, because to me, you're saying that the term daddy is equal to fatherhood, because I guess I'm sort of leaning toward the term baby daddy.
Well, let's just stick with it before you deal with that. The daddy, father is interchangeable, okay? In essence to how you're referencing. You might say, that's my daddy, that's my father. The terminology in that sense are interchangeable. But in the grand scheme of what we're talking about today, daddy doesn't per se have to be your birth father, but it's that person. And in fact, neither one have to be your birth father. I mean, I'm explaining that. And that while you were given birth by a man, obviously, you were given life by a man, but daddy takes on the day-to-day responsibility. If we have to put it into context, daddy is that one that takes on the day-to-day responsibility of you as a child, male or female. He takes on that day-to-day. I was
thinking that was more father.
Well, and what I'm saying with father is more than just say the one who impregnated your mom is the one who imparts to you. That's what a father is. Like a father figure. He imparts, he encourages, he inspires.
Okay.
He everything about that father figure for me today. While I had a birth father and a daddy, people typically would say, hey man, what has been one of the driving forces behind your success? And I've said, in every stage of my life, I purposely and intentionally had a father figure in my life. I sought out an older gentleman to sit up under his feet and listen to, a father figure.
That's good.
So while I had my grandfather, my father, all of my uncles, Deacon Angelo Singleton, that's the man that led me to Christ. He was like a father figure and taught me how to study the word of God, read the word of God. Deacon Willie Winters, when I was ordained a deacon, this is the man. While my daddy taught me how to be a man, Deacon Willie Winters taught me how to be a man of God.
Well, see, that's a whole different thing.
And then
you can be taught how to be a man, but being taught how to be a man of God, right, that's two different things.
And just walking in that order. And then, so I've had yes, my daddy, and who was responsible for my day-to-day care and providing that day-to-day oversight in my life. And my father as well. He inspired. You know, for me, some people would say, you know, Monroe is a little arrogant.
Some people
he could be a little cocky. But hey,
some people would say that.
But blame that. I say, hey, blame that on my father and my mother.
Okay.
And for having confidence.
Confidence.
You see,
Miss Ashley, good morning. I have been blessed with 4 children, my oldest being from a previous relationship. I refer to her biological father as her father and my husband as her dad. What Pastor G, I love that, just said is my exact reasoning. Awesome. Pastor G, I love that. You know what? That's your new nickname, Pastor G. Hey, I love that.
My nickname is Money.
Okay. You know what, Ashley?
Always and forever will be money.
Okay. Yeah. Ashley, I agree with you because the biological father, and then the maybe stepdad would be considered dad for that. I like that. I like that understanding. I really like that.
Being that this is Father's Day, let me share something because I had my calling in ministry was to men, and boys and mentoring. And so from that, I opened a school for boys in Bermuda in 2000, 2001. So it's in its 21st year, a school for boys in Bermuda. But let me share something with you to help brothers today.
Okay.
And about dad, father, your dad, your father. And because a mama is a mama, irrespective of
mama,
in many cases,
mother, same thing to me.
Exactly. See, a mama and mother there is no difference. So when it comes to dad and father, it's about what he did or didn't do.
Mama and mother.
Right. So, but let me put things in perspective because a lot of guys have ill relationships with their dad, father, their birth father.
Okay.
And it was a stepfather. But say birth father, man, he wasn't in my life.
Right.
And I remember having a conversation with some guy. Guy was cursing out his dad, and I was like, dude, man, you know how you cursing out? And so finally, he was like, Monroe, he don't mean nothing to me, man.
Oh.
While he knew my dad. He said, listen, man, the relationship that you and Buggy had, me and my dad didn't have. But I say, man, but still, I said, still, that's your dad. He said, Monroe, you can say that because you had your dad and your father. Right? So, but it helped me to understand from a different perspective. But let me say this, a teachable moment, if you don't mind. I'll say to a lot of brothers who have not had their daddy, their father in their life, and you have some ill feelings about them.
Okay.
Your destiny is tied up in your biological father. Your destiny.
Elaborate.
Your destiny. One of the greatest scenes in a simple movie is not necessarily the greatest movie, but that tells the truth behind what I'm speaking is the movie Nick Cannon was in. Drumline. The movie came on with him going to the movie theater window and saying to his father,
I don't need you.
I just wanted to show you that I didn't need you. But we come to see that as he went through life, what did he need most?
His dad.
His daddy.
Yeah.
Because
his father.
Because his daddy, his father, because what we saw in that movie playing out on screen was you couldn't become who you were until you connected to who he is.
Okay.
The music and the skill that he possessed, it was inherent. It was inbred because it came from his father. So the same person that he said that I just want to show you that I can make it without you, you will have some success in life. But to maximize, reach your full potential is what Maslow says the highest achievement of man is to self-actualize. And that is to realize your full potential and then reach it. I always look at Abraham and David to help brothers in solving their relationships with their father.
You preaching, Doc, but please explain that. Okay.
So
that's what he's doing, I guess.
So that's what I'm about to do.
Okay.
You ever wondered what made Abraham, when God said to Abraham, pack up your belongings and leave, and I'll show you You're going to take your family to a new country. You ever wonder what made Abraham pack up and head toward Canaan?
Okay.
Well, when you do the study, Abram's father Terah had already began that journey of taking his family out of Mesopotamia and taking them to Canaan land.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that Terah died in Haran after his son. He settled in Haran, right? He had a son named Haran. He died. He named that country Haran. He never made it to Canaan land.
Mm-hmm.
He died in Haran.
Okay.
A lot of brothers, fathers, settled for where they are.
Oh.
Could my father have had more? But he settled at Union Camp. He settled at Union Camp. It was a safe place. It was a good place. It provided for his family.
Oh.
But his destiny was to go to Canaan.
Okay.
So now God says, after his father died, Abram, pick up your bags and leave and go.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Abram just decide to go to Canaan? Because that's where his father was going.
That's where he has been.
Right?
Okay.
That's where his father was going.
I got you.
Then you have David. Everybody thought that Solomon was just wise to ask God for what he asked God for.
Mm-hmm.
But that was an impartation of David to Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
Because David wanted to build God this temple.
Mm-hmm.
God said, you have too much blood on your hand. You've done too much wrong.
Right.
You've sold drugs. You've been to jail. You pimped. You did this. You've been alcoholic. David, you got too much blood on your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So David went to Solomon and told him, say, listen, man, I want to do this for God. Mm-hmm. But God said I had too much blood on my hand. Mm-hmm. He said that, but you would do it. Mm-hmm. And he communicated to Solomon what he was going to need in order to do these things. So when God shows up to Solomon and asks him what you desire, he only asks for what his father imparted into him.
So that's why a son needs his father to finish what the impartation needs to manifest.
Enlightenment, inspiration, instructions. And sometimes you may never get that opportunity to meet your father. It could be in a father figure that someone can impart to you directions and destiny and bring that out in you.
Okay. So last question on the table is 3 things you've learned from your father. 3 things.
He said, I told you, one was when you get your own, you'll understand. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. When you get your own, you understand. Mm-hmm. That's one thing he said. This, he said, was powerful.
Okay.
He said, your mama and my wife are 2 different people.
Okay.
When you get your own, you're going to understand.
Okay, wait. Okay, so that's 2. Hold on. Mr. Sean, so I agree, but what about the child who maybe was adopted and never knew their biological dad, but has felt the weight of it, and maybe there is no way to ever know him?
Well, that's what I just alluded to, that there's a father figure. There's a father. There's a father figure that somebody could impart into his life. You see, God is a man is still a channel, a vehicle. We're all vessels. Mm-hmm. So even though it may not be a biological father, God can use a father figure to impart that void in that individual's life
and to pull it out. You know, mentors are so important. And a lot of people, I'm not a mentor, I'm not a role model, but you are. Someone is watching you. Someone is imitating you. You never know who's watching you.
Absolutely.
You never know. That's why you should always try your best to be your best at all times. Now, that's just a MonaLisa tidbit there, because I'm a firm believer. First impressions are 30 seconds in. So those 30 seconds, people already think they know you. So why not have them think the best about you? by putting your best foot forward. So, the
That's
third
two.
thing, yeah, the
And
third
so,
thing. Go ahead, sir.
So what was it? What did I say?
The first thing was having your own mind.
Well, your own
The
mind
second thing was
was
a wife
yeah,
and
yeah,
your
yeah,
mama.
Yeah.
Two different things.
Your mama and my wife are two different people.
Two different things.
And I say that because,
and you know what? I agree with that.
I'll say that because
Totally.
they were arguing one day. And I'm sitting there just listening, looking at him, I'm looking at him, that's my mama, But you're my mama and my daddy, my biological parents having a disagreement or whatever. So he just looked at me. And he could tell the look in my eyes. So he said, come here. He went outside. He says, now let me tell you something. First of all, I'm your daddy. So don't you ever look at me like you're going to correct me.
Okay.
I'm your daddy.
Okay.
That's the first thing. And then he said, secondly, your mama and my wife are two different people. You going to understand that when you get your own.
Do you understand?
Oh, I understand it now, man. Because see, your mama say to the husband, baby, can you take the trash out? I'll get it. Don't worry, I'll get it myself. Can't ask you to do nothing. But then she'll go to the son and say, sweetie, can you take the trash out? Mama, I get it. I'm playing the game. I'm going to play basketball. Okay, baby, whenever you get a chance. In a sense like that. So I remember in my school with the boys, I saw whereas I used to tell a lot of the singing, I'm going to get there. A lot of the single women, I used to say, if you treat your husband like you treat your son and treat your son like you treat your husband, you'll get the desired results from both.
Okay.
Now, last thing.
I have to. Okay, yeah.
Last thing. What was the last thing? You meant to evade my mind now.
Well, why are you thinking?
Okay. He said. No one. You're better than no one, and no one is better than you.
Okay. Okay.
You're better than no one. No one is better.
So let's go back to that statement that you made. Treating your husband like your son, and your son like your husband.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why I disagree. I disagree because my sons should always know that they have a place in my heart, but not a husband's place in my heart. And a husband should always expect me to treat him as a king or as a husband in my heart and not a son, because I'm going to talk to my son a certain way. I don't want to talk to my husband that way.
Well, here's the point that I'm making. And so that's because you hold that position. And I'm saying when that position is flawed or turned around, where you have in a lot of cases, particularly, well, I can't say in divorce cases, because I remember when there were brothers, biological father and mother in the house. And the mother was treating the son
better than the dad.
No, not better. The mother was treating the son like the father and treat the father like the son, just the way they interact with him. So it was treating the son with respect, with care,
but not the husband.
Right. So the way they spoke to the son, baby, sweetie, can you do this? And understanding with the son, but then turn right around.
Why don't you?
Exactly. And then have harsh words, harsh tonations toward the father.
Yeah.
And just no, as you're alluding to, no compassion, no intimacy with the father. And so it was just like, but yet a lot of the women who had their sons in my school, they would complain, my son is so rude and disrespectful. I say, because you're treating him like the husband.
Well, you know what? That's a whole nother show. Women treating their sons like the man of the house. That's a whole different thing. And I know if we get into that, we're going to go past the hour. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. We had a great old time. I want you to go to my website, which is www.MonaLisaMonroe.com, and purchase the merchandise as you saw. Ding! We got cups, we've got totes, we've got what you need. Once again, leave a comment, click like and share. Thank you so very much for tuning in. You want to tell everybody bye, honey?
Just love, peace, and soul satisfaction. And happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Give the brother some love, and male or female, find your father if it's possible. Find your dad. Find your biological father. Have a conversation with them, and allow them to explain themselves to you. Faults, failures, everything. Because remember, they were a child too, and they had aspirations. They had dreams too. To those who, like Terah, settled, fell short. To those who were like David, who had too much blood on their hands, both of those men had aspirations and dreams to do something great, but life got the best of them. So while you are doing great things, and you may feel like Nick Cannon on Drumline, that you have made it, that you made it without your father, if you're going to really make it, and that is self-actualize, realize and reach your highest potential, your direction, your destiny is inextricably tied into the heart of your father.
Love you too, Ashley. She says she loves us, babe.
Love you too.
Good morning, Elijah. Thanks for tuning in. You guys take care. Love you again.
And remember, your mama, my wife,
it's two
different people. Yeah, you say amen to
oh
that.
my gosh. All right.